Hi, good evening traders. Today we are on the 11th of May, Wednesday evening, 12 minutes past 5 p.m. And if in one word I have to mention today's trade, I would rather say viciously volatile. Bhayankar volatility tha aaj, especially if you are a bank nifty trader, uh, you would have felt the craziness. But let's first talk about the Nifty. The first thing that I would like to, highlight is this. For the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trading sessions, the Nifty benchmark Nifty index closed negative. Tell me, when did the last time you saw the Nifty on a day-on-day basis closing down successively? This is a rare phenomenon. And this implies two important pointers. The first point is we should get a bounce back. We should get a slowdown of the selling, and 8 दिन के बाद 1-2 दिन का तो थोड़ा green candle बनता है, something like that. The other implication is very, very relevant. That is, this is a weak market. It's a weak market because if the index, not a stock, if the index is falling for consecutive 3, 4, 5, 6 days without a single positive day, it clearly reflects the amount of selling, which is very, very relevant in the system. So it's a weak market. Remember that. Now, at today's intraday low, which is at 15,993, the index kind of respected the psychological round figure of 16K. And in the recent past, and if you go back a little bit more in the past, you will see the significance of this 16K. Because this big breakout had come after a pretty wide consolidation, and this consolidation was capped by 16K. 16K momentarily for just a matter of a day or two did manage to give a support here, and now in today's intraday lows. This does not mean that 16K cannot be breached and we should all go and start to buy tomorrow. But what it reflects is the fact that prices do have a memory is getting reflected in this Nifty chart. So what is the view and what are the levels? View for the Nifty is stays weak. It stays weak. It is in a very strong downtrend. 8 days down, one after the other. We should ideally get some kind of a bounce back. The selling pressure should slow down. Yesterday I was calling for a breakout at least above this high, which is 16,400. So let's take a look at this from a slightly shorter time frames perspective. And so I bring you to the 75-minute chart of Nifty near month futures. The point of control of the volume profile from this high to this low clearly reflects this is the zone where majority of the activity has happened. And in this case, 16,300 stays as the point of control, this one. And then over here, the 16,400. So two levels to keep in mind, 16,300, 16,400. I have two sets of moving averages on my charts. One I use for the shorter term and other one for the intermediate. You can see that how weak the index was, that it has not even managed to flip over the shorter term moving averages. It's not even managed to do that. That's a sign of weakness. But I feel that after today's bounce back, the index will try its best to test 16,300 and maybe 16,400 towards the close of this week, or maybe spill over next week. We should get a positive expiry tomorrow. We should look forward to this, keeping in mind that today's late hour bounce back is going to reflect tomorrow. So in terms of levels, 16K, of course, the psychological number, and on the upside, resistance is at 16,300, 16,400. But it's not the Nifty that is very encouraging. On the other hand, it is the Bank Nifty which is far more encouraging. If you remember, I think it was day before yesterday that I was calling for a possible slowdown of the selling. Not bullish, but possible slowdown of the selling, which got reflected yesterday's bounce back and which we can see very clearly in today's late hour vicious bounce back that we saw. And very clearly, if I zoom in and if I bring into today's high, yesterday's high, and this would be, I think, Friday's high, you'll find similar kind of levels. This is your short-term breakout. What's the level? Let's go to a 75-minute time frame. And you can see that the index have clearly created a 1,000-point range for itself. Is this base formation? Is this accumulation? The tendency seems to be like that. The intention of the index is that it is likely to reverse the trend, early signs of moving averages turning up. It's got a gap down here which it wants to close. And maybe it wants to scale towards the 35,500 mark. Let's see. Not too sure. But relative outperformance vis-a-vis the Nifty coming in from the Bank Nifty means the banking stocks. So which are the stocks which are likely to help the Bank Nifty move further up? I'll share my views on 3 stocks. But before that, the levels of Bank Nifty, very clearly a breakout above today's high, which is 34,797, so 34,800. And the support stays at 34,170, so around 34,000. So 34,000 and 34,800 are the levels for Bank Nifty. In fact, 34,500 put was literally crazy in today's trade. Let me bring your focus to the Bank Nifty option chain. In fact, let's do one thing. Let's come here. Yes. Over here, what I have is intraday Bank Nifty movement vis-a-vis the active call and put. I would like to break this graph into 2 parts. One is this part wherein the black line is falling. This was the Bank Nifty falling. And then the other part when in the later afternoon the Bank Nifty bounced back. The red line is your 34,500. The red line is your 34,500 call writing towards the afternoon and heavy unwinding towards the afternoon. The pale bluish line is 34,500 put. This was like crazy movement happened. Decent call writing towards the put writing towards the first half, sheer unwinding, then picked up again and then sold off again. I was keeping a very close look at this particular put myself, and range was around 150 points to 450 points, and it was, as you can see, the unwindings is all over. And this anyone who makes who trades, tracks the markets would call this day really volatile. It will be very difficult to catch this guy by its tail. But Bank Nifty is showing better strength, and I feel, I sense, I expect that this 34,500 put is likely to expire worthless tomorrow. I think it might have closed around 160, 70 odd rupees, falling from I think 400, 450 in the mid-afternoon. But I think that's the one which is likely to go worthless tomorrow afternoon. Let's see. So I spoke about 3 stocks. Number 1, Axis Bank. Axis Bank is a reversion to mean candidate. The stock has a well-defined resistance. The stock has a well-defined support. It's oscillating beautifully within a very wide range. This is the recent sell-off, pretty sharp. The volume profile clearly reflects a point of control close to 730 mark. We notice some amount of volume picking up at the lower levels. So we can expect a bit of a bounce back from this stock. You can play it in various ways, but I would like to play this expectation with the help of bullish put spread. Maybe next week, sell the in the money put and buy the out of the money put. That's one thing that you can do. The other one is Kotak Bank. Though Kotak Bank has not been trending, but this is a typical classical breakout candidate. There you go. This is not for trading. This I'm sharing with you from the point of view that it is yet again back to some really interesting levels. And will this give you a breakout? You can clearly see how beautifully the moving averages are improving themselves. The stock doesn't want to fall but is showing signs of a recovery. And that's why not from a short-term trading point of view, from a point of view of positional cash market. And then the last one is State Bank of India. Earnings coming up on, I think, the 13th of May. And this stock did support the index quite a bit in today's bounce back. This was the key mover alongside HDFC Bank also. But I would give this stock a little bit of time. It's got earnings coming up, so I would not want to jump onto it. I'll be rather more confident playing Axis Bank, the bullish put spread. The other two that you can look at is HDFC Bank and iBank. But I think it's Axis Bank and Kotak Bank which are more tradable at this juncture. So, difficult times, volatile times. Stay light, your position wise and your risk wise also. And let's see whether the market, especially the Bank Nifty, manages to extend and break out above that 34,800, number one, and manages to stay above that 34,800 for the rest of the day or not. With that, I think I should wrap up today's market view. Do share your thoughts, your views, and if there's any suggestion. Till then, trade well, trade wise.